Good afternoon. This is Art Chansky on Google Hangout on Blue Blood TV from Tyler's Tap Room in Durham. And you can watch this interview now live on BlueBloodRivalry.com. And we are very pleased to have Ray Farmer, former Duke star, former NFL player, and current new general manager of the Cleveland Browns. Ray, this is an unbelievably busy time for you, but we really appreciate you spending a few minutes with us on Blue Blood TV.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Ray, I don't know where to start. Things have happened so much in Cleveland. You drafted, I want to call him Johnny Manziel because everybody says he has not become Johnny Football in the NFL yet. So you've got that. You've got a new coach. You've got a reorganization of the franchise. Congratulations on becoming the general manager.
Thank you.
Where do we start in talking about where the Cleveland Browns are right now and where you hope to be a year from now?
I would say right now the Cleveland Browns are in a good position. We're excited about the draft. We're excited about the free agent additions. We're excited about the roster. And most importantly, we're excited where our football team's going. Jimmy Haslam, the owner, entrusted me with the opportunity to be the general manager. He did the same with Mike Pettin as the head coach this offseason. So with the first-time general manager and a first-time head coach, we're both excited to work in lockstep on building this football team to really be a championship organization and football team moving forward for this year and years to come.
Ray, let me put this in a way. You played on in a Duke football program that was good when you played. Under Fred Goldsmith, you went to a bowl in 1994. You were ACC Defensive Player in the Week when you blocked a punt and fell on it against Clemson to preserve a victory. So you knew the high side of Duke football. Since then, until David Cutcliffe came and finished rebuilding the program, you saw Duke football go to the depth and then rise to where no one thought that they could go. The ACC championship game last year against Florida State. What in that, in your experience in being associated with Duke and observing that football program, can you use to relate it to the Browns organization, which a lot of people say, oh, the Browns, here we go again. Even though we have a good start, we don't sustain it through the season. Can you feed off what you know about the rise of Duke football to help the Browns?
I would say that I can see the parallels in the sense that people are down on the Browns. People were down on Duke football. Inevitably, I think both situations have the opportunity for success. I definitely can tell you that from my own perspective, I've always felt like Duke had an opportunity to be as good as anybody else's program. Tremendous academics. They play in a top conference. They can attract the best athletes around, assuming that those young men want that total experience. I think Coach Cutcliffe has done an amazing job of putting together not only a staff but acquiring the players that demonstrate that he's a phenomenal coach. He coaches them well. I had the good fortune of attending practice and seeing him in action. Had the good fortune of meeting him prior to even coming to Duke University. And I can tell you, bar none, he's a top-notch guy, and I can see why players and parents as well would want their young men to be in and around him. Using that same experience of what Duke football has come through, I can tell you that the Browns are in a similar situation where haven't had much success here recently, but nevertheless, I do believe that we're in a situation now where we can put together a good, solid football program, begin to win games, and change it in time. There's really no substitute for winning, and that's really our charge and our passion here is to relentlessly pursue winning football games. So in that, we're going to play like Browns, and that's just an adjective that we use around here or a descriptor here that talks about playing with passion, playing competitively, playing with toughness, relentlessness, all of those things, being accountable. All of those things equate to play like a Brown. And we're going to do the best things that we can that can provide a football team that this area can be proud of, like I know Durham is right now, Duke.
Well, you drafted the most exciting player in college football, the player that was most talked about heading into the NFL draft, Johnny Manziel. Some had him going first in the draft to the Houston Texans. Some had him slipping to the second round. You chose him. And since then, Coach Patton and Jim Haslam have come out and said he is a member of this team. He has to earn his position on the team. They've been very forthright about the fact that he's not Johnny Football in the National Football League yet. How exciting was it to draft a player with that kind of notoriety, but then having to bring him into the organization and temper all the excitement that your fans might have about drafting Johnny Football?
I don't know if we want to necessarily temper their excitement. We're ecstatic that the fans are fired up about what's happening here in Berea and what the upcoming season could hold, and the promise that Johnny could actually become Johnny Football in the National Football League. From our perspective, when you build your football team, you don't want to hand anybody anything. Everybody in the National Football League has to earn their stripes, and that's really what we want the charge is for Johnny and every other player that we drafted. Guys are going to have to come in here and demonstrate that they're better than the players that are listed as the starters and earn their opportunities. And the National Football League will reward those guys that come in, play like Browns, demonstrate their starters, and help improve our football team. And if he's the guy to earn the job, play the best, study the best, and demonstrate he's ready for the role, he'll get his opportunity in due time.
What was your first impression of Johnny Manziel when you met him? And then when he came into the Browns organization after you drafted him, describe what it was like when he walked through the door as a Cleveland Brown.
I'll go back, like you said, and my first interactions with him were extremely positive. The first time that I ever had an opportunity to really talk to him and meet him and shake his hand, he actually walked up to me at the combine and introduced himself. And so I thought that was good. It was unique for a player to kind of go out of his way, know my name, seek me out, and make the connection. With that being said, when he first walked into Cleveland, he was ready to get to work. He wasn't, enamored by what people were saying. He wasn't blown away by all the fanfare and the excitement. He was very calm. His demeanor was exactly what you want, a guy that had been there, a guy that recognized that none of this stuff that everybody else is saying really matters. What really matters is him getting a chance to demonstrate his skills on the field. So he was eager to get the playbook in his hand. He was eager to meet his teammates. He was eager to get to the practice field to demonstrate his wares. And so that's really what we want, is to put him in a situation to where he can focus on football and go forward.
Well, he'll have an easy adjustment with some members of the Browns, but there'll be players, veterans, who always want rookies to prove themselves, especially somebody like Johnny Football with the reputation. So what do you say to the franchise as a whole? What do you say to the team as a whole about this kid coming in? Or do you say anything at all? Is it business as normal?
I think it's business as normal. I think from our perspective, and I said this before, we could come in and we could say anything. We could come in and we could say, hey, Johnny is this, Johnny is that, and he's the leader, and he's the starter, and he's the captain. But the reality is that the pack chooses the leader. So, we don't decide who runs at the front of the pack does. And so at the end of the day, the players are going to either resonate with who he is and how he plays and how he performs, and they'll either rise to the level that he's demonstrated he's playing to, or they'll be resentful if we put somebody in the lineup that's not prepared to play and help them win. The team as a whole is overly focused on winning. And I'll be honest, as a former player and as a current general manager, the thing you got to respect the most is that the players don't care what the name is, they want to be successful. If that guy goes up there and demonstrates that he can be successful, then that's the guy they want to play with. I'll give you an example. Who is Victor Cruz if Victor Cruz doesn't get an opportunity to demonstrate to his teammates that he can play? He's a college free agent that got an opportunity, that went out and then demonstrated that he was capable of playing, and he's done that. The 1/3 of the National Football League is made up of college free agents. And so I would tell you that those guys earn their stripes, they earn their teammates' respect, and then from there forward, they had a chance to move forward and be embraced as such.
Yeah, but can Johnny Football salsa? That's what I want to know.
Can he salsa? I don't know if he can salsa. I do know that he can hit a mean 7-iron, though. I think he can hit a mean 7-iron. He's a quarterback.
Hey, Ray, thank you again. I see you wearing your Duke sweatshirt, very appropriate.
Absolutely.
The Cleveland Browns cut Greg Little, who was a Tar Heel, and frankly, as a Tar Heel, he was a very good player, but he was a little controversial on the field and off the field. What made you decide that he wasn't in the future plans of the Cleveland Browns?
I can tell you from my perspective, it had nothing to do with the fact that he went to Carolina, even though I'm a Blue Devil. So that didn't come into consideration at all. I will tell you that from where we sit, we made a decision that we wanted to get some other guys an opportunity to demonstrate their skills. We thought it was best in our situation to move on from Greg and to create that opportunity and that competition spot for us to move forward with. So we kind of like some of the young guys that we have. We like some of the acquisitions that we've made. And so giving Greg a different opportunity was something that we discussed and we made happen.
The Browns' history is interesting. Bill Belichick was there when the team was sold and became the Baltimore Ravens. Since then, the fans, I think, have had a real hunger to have championship football return, but they may feel like the team is a redheaded stepchild based on how the new Cleveland Browns came into existence after the old Browns left and went to Baltimore. What kind of a complex does the fan base have that you feel is a challenge to overcome?
I don't know if I would categorize them as having a complex. I think from my perspective, I think that our fan base is what I would call hungry. They're ravenous for success. And I think that if we're able to win games and demonstrate that we're putting together the right type of football team, they're going to continue to rally. I think I've seen nothing but tremendous support from our fans. And, again, when you haven't had a lot of success, it's easy for people to kind of turn and go away. The one thing I will tell you about Cleveland fans is that they're not fair weather. They've lived through the storms. They've lived through the rain. I think they're just ready for their toast of sunshine so they can really be excited about what we're doing here in Berea.
Describe to us what the dog pound is like, being actually in the dog pound or so close to it that you can taste it and smell what's going on in the dog pound.
Again, the dog pound, from my perspective, is it's really what fans live for. It's the type of environment where if you really love your team and you bleed your team's colors, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to sit. The fans that are passionate, that they're embodying the principles of the team, they cheer regardless. And again, when you're passionate, guess what? There may be some boos, but I do think that as we look at the dog pound, I know it's a section in the stadium, but our entire stadium, in my pound, is really considered the dog pound because all of our fans seem to always rally to the challenge, always seem to be up for whatever the Browns are doing. And it's indicative when you listen to talk radio or you pick up the newspaper that it's Browns 24/7, 365 here in Cleveland.
Ray, you had a great college career. You had a brief playing career. As you went through your college career and your education at Duke, when did you decide that you wanted to make football your profession, not necessarily as a player, but after that, as an administrator, maybe a coach, or certainly a general manager like you've become today? When did that dawn on you that you wanted football to be your life after college?
Once I got through playing, I'll be honest and say that there's always stories about players that struggle with the transition in the normal life, if you will. And so I'll say I was no different than a lot of the average players where I didn't know precisely what I wanted to do. So I took my hand and tried a lot of different things before settling in and getting an opportunity to actually do some talk radio. And from that perspective, I probably grew even more attached to the game. And then that attachment to the game kept leading me back to how can I most have an impact on working in a franchise, helping a team win. And so that's what kind of really drew me into the scouting aspect of it. At that point, I will tell you that my dreams and aspirations weren't necessarily to be a general manager. They were to get into the front door, earn my stripes, work hard, do the best I could, and let my career take off as it may. And I was given that opportunity by Dan Reeves, the head coach in Atlanta, Ron Hill, who was in the league office, the executive vice president of football operations. And from there, Les Snead, who's now the general manager for the St. Louis Rams, gave me that opportunity, showed me what to do, groomed me up, and got me started.
We're talking with Ray Farmer, former Duke star, current general manager of the Cleveland Browns. This is Google Hangout on Blue Blood TV from Tyler's Tap Room in Durham, a favorite haunt of Ray's when he was here. Ray, one other question for you. Being the great defensive player that you were, and the Browns really, unless Brian Hoyer or Johnny Manziel become an elite quarterback, you're really a defensive-minded team. And you've been a defensive player all your life. I mean, you're a good fit as the general manager. The philosophy of the Browns needs to be play defense, run the football until maybe an offensive star or two emerges. Am I correct in that? Are you well suited to lead the franchise in that philosophy?
I think I'm well suited to lead the franchise. I would tell you that our philosophy is simply play like a Brown. And that's going to be tough. That's going to be physical. And you would categorize it as playing good defense, running the football. I would categorize it as being a well-rounded football team. I think the best teams win championships, and that's what we're inclined to build, is a team that can function in Northeast Ohio. We don't play in a dome. We're going to play outside. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold. You could get snow. You could get rain. From our perspective, we want a team that handles the elements, and that is. I will agree that the biggest instrument from us will be our toughness. We want a team that when you play the Browns, you should feel it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and probably through the next week, And the people that hopefully play after us will say, you know what, thank God the Browns played them first because hopefully we softened them up. But we're going to attack the football field just like we do everything else around here relentlessly. And that's really how we want our guys to play.
Well, we thank you for your time. I know you don't have much time to spend with us. We appreciate it. One last question I want to ask you is about the Duke-Carolina rivalry. When you played in it, it was a great rivalry. There was a tremendous game played at Wallace Wade Stadium in 1994. Fred Goldsmith was the first team since Steve Spurrier to take the Blue Devils to a bowl game. Now Cutcliffe has brought it back to where they had a phenomenal game 2 years ago at night at Wallace Wade. They had another great game in Chapel Hill where Duke wrapped up the Coastal Division of the ACC. This year, Duke is picked second behind Miami in the Coastal Division preseason standings. And also, Duke and Carolina are playing a national TV game at Wade Stadium on Thursday night, November 20th. Is that hard to believe for you, or is it something that, knowing David Cutcliffe and knowing the rebuilding job that he had to do, that you thought would eventually happen?
I thought this has always been a possibility for Duke. It's one of the reasons that I went there. I firmly believe that at the end of the day, Duke can be as prominent in football as they are in every other sport. David Cutcliffe is the right man for the job. I understand where he's at and what he's done and the commitment that Kevin White and the rest of the athletic department has made to making sure that Duke football is on the right track. As you look at what they've accomplished, David Cutcliffe's going to get a lot of the praise and credit, and he deserves all of that. And I believe he would tell you that he has a tremendous staff, but the young men on the field are the ones that are really kind of turning that program around. And the more people become familiar and Duke football becomes synonymous with winning, the more and more kids will want to get an opportunity to play at Duke. And I think I'm excited for that opportunity as I have an 11-year-old, so tell Coach Cut to keep his eyes open.
All right. Now, look, we've seen Peyton, we've seen Eli come down to Duke, work out with Coach Cutcliffe, coincidentally, when Duke and Carolina playing basketball. Will we see you and Johnny Manziel sitting under the basket with Coach Cut this season or next season or a season in the future?
That's a great question. I don't know. I've been down to Duke. I go every year. My mother-in-law lives 10 minutes from campus, so you'll definitely see me. Now, whether Johnny wants to make that trip or not, that'll be up to him, but you'll definitely see me down in Blue Devil country here, either coming up this summer or sometime in the fall.
Ray, thank you so much for your time. We'll follow the Browns with a lot of interest and a lot of passion. And if you're the general manager behind that team, we know you're going to play like Browns all season.
Absolutely. Play like Browns. And, by the way, go Duke.
Good luck to you, and good luck to the Blue Devils.
Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you.
This has been Ray Farmer. This is Art Chansky at Tyler's Tap Room in Durham. This is Google Hangout on Blue Blood TV. And you can see this interview on bluebloodrivalry.com. Thank you, and good afternoon.
Thank you.